This is All India Radio. We now bring you a special news program on COVID-19. Good evening. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people to maintain social distance, not emotional distance, to deal with COVID-19. Sharing his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, Prime Minister asserts steps being taken by people to stop spread of virus will ensure India conquers the pandemic. Prime Minister interacts with doctors and recovered COVID-19 patients, praises zeal and grit of frontline workers for helping India to fight a battle on a massive scale. Centre asks states and union territories to take measures to prevent movement of migrant workers to home states. 10 empowered groups formed by the government to give guidance on medical emergency management, isolation beds and quarantine facility. Centre approves insurance scheme under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package for health workers fighting to contain COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people to maintain social distance and not emotional and human distance while battling COVID-19. Sharing his thoughts in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio today, the Prime Minister said that social distancing is the most effective way of fighting against COVID-19 and by complying with the lockdown, people are protecting themselves. The Prime Minister said, however, people need to understand that social distancing does not mean ending social interaction.
कोरोना वायरस से लड़ने का सबसे कारगर तरीका सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग है, लेकिन हमें ये समझना होगा कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का मतलब सोशल इंटरेक्शन को खत्म करना नहीं है। वास्तव में ये समय अपने सभी पुराने सामाजिक रिश्तों में नई जान फूंकने का है, उन रिश्तों को तरोताजा करने का है। एक प्रकार से ये समय हमें यह भी बताता है कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग बढ़ाओ और इमोशनल डिस्टेंस घटाओ। मैं फिर कहता हूं, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग बढ़ाओ और इमोशनल डिस्टेंस घटाओ।
Mr. Modi said everyone has to protect themselves and their families, and for the next many days they have to abide by the Lakshman Rekha. He said the determination and restraint of each Indian will aid in facing the crisis.
ये लॉकडाउन आपके खुद के बचने के लिए है। आपको अपने को बचाना है, अपने परिवार को बचाना है। अभी आपको आने वाले कई दिनों तक इसी तरह धैर्य दिखाना ही है, लक्ष्मण रेखा का पालन करना ही है। साथियों, मैं ये भी जानता हूं कि कोई कानून नहीं तोड़ना चाहता, नियम नहीं तोड़ना चाहता, लेकिन कुछ लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं क्योंकि अब भी वो स्थिति की गंभीरता को नहीं समझ रहे। ऐसे लोगों को यही कहूंगा कि लॉकडाउन का नियम तोड़ेंगे तो कोरोना वायरस से बचना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। दुनिया भर में बहुत से लोगों को कुछ इसी तरह की खुशफहमी थी। आज ये सब पछता रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister said mankind will have to rise unitedly in the resolve to exterminate this virus, which poses a threat to annihilate the human race. He apologized for any inconvenience or hardship caused to the people.
मैं आपकी दिक्कतें समझता हूं, आपकी परेशानी भी समझता हूं, लेकिन भारत जैसे 130 करोड़ की आबादी वाले देश को कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई के लिए एक कदम उठाए बिना कोई रास्ता नहीं था। कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई जीवन और मृत्यु के बीच की लड़ाई है और इस लड़ाई में हमें जीतना है और इसीलिए ये कठोर कदम उठाने बहुत आवश्यक थे। किसी का मन नहीं करता है ऐसे कदमों के लिए, लेकिन दुनिया के हालात देखने के बाद लगता है कि यही एक रास्ता बचा है। आपको, आपके परिवार को सुरक्षित रखना है। मैं फिर एक बार आपको जो भी असुविधा हुई है, कठिनाई हुई है, इसके लिए क्षमा मांगता हूं।
Mr. Narendra Modi said since the battle against corona is unprecedented as well as challenging, the decisions being taken during this time are unheard of in world history. The Prime Minister said the steps being taken by people to stop the spread of corona and the efforts being made will ensure that India conquers the pandemic. Mr. Modi said sympathy of the people for the poor should also be far greater. He said our humanity stems from the fact that whenever we see a poor or hungry person, we first try and feed them in this time of crisis. Underlining the foremost concern in everyone's mind across the globe about the catastrophic coronavirus pandemic, the Prime Minister said this is the reason why he has concentrated only on this issue in this edition of Mann Ki Baat. Mr. Modi extended a heartfelt apology to all countrymen and said he strongly feels from the core of his heart that the people will forgive him because he had to take certain decisions which may be resulting in several hardships. The Prime Minister said in this war there are many soldiers who are fighting the coronavirus, not in the confines of their homes, but outside their homes. Mr. Modi said India has been able to fight a battle on such a massive scale only because of the zeal and grit of frontline warriors like doctors, nurses, paramedics, ASHA, ANM and sanitation workers.
इस लड़ाई के अनेकों योद्धा ऐसे हैं जो घरों में नहीं, घरों के बाहर रहकर कोरोना वायरस का मुकाबला कर रहे हैं। जो हमारे फ्रंटलाइन सोल्जर्स हैं, खास करके हमारी नर्सिस बहनें हैं, नर्सिस का काम करने वाले भाई हैं, डॉक्टर हैं, पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ हैं, ऐसे साथी जो कोरोना को पराजित कर चुके हैं, आज हमें उनसे प्रेरणा लेनी है।
Mr. Modi said the country is concerned about their health as well, and the government has announced a health insurance cover of up to 50 lakh rupees for around 20 lakh colleagues from these fields so that they can lead the country in this battle with greater self-confidence. The Prime Minister shared his conversations on phone with doctors and recovered COVID-19 patients, boosting their zeal, and said he has learnt a lot from them. First, he shared his conversation with an IT professional, Ram Gampateja, who recovered from coronavirus. The Prime Minister said Ram followed the doctor's instructions fully when suspected of having corona, and as a result, he is leading a healthy, normal life today. Mr. Modi also spoke to Ashok Kapoor from Agra, who along with his family suffered from coronavirus. The Prime Minister said we can defeat this pandemic without panicking, following the right steps on time, contacting doctors on time without getting afraid, and by taking proper precautions. In order to highlight how the nation is dealing with this pandemic at the medical level, the Prime Minister spoke to some doctors who are leading the front line in this battle. Dr. Nitesh Gupta from Delhi thanks the Prime Minister for the support from the government to the hospital and told him that everyone's mood in his hospital is upbeat. The Prime Minister said all these people are persevering to the best extent possible to end this scourge. He saluted the embodiment of humanity, the nurse. The Prime Minister said the selfless spirit of service with which they perform their duty is beyond compare. He said it is a coincidence that the world is celebrating the year 2020 as the International Year of the Nurse and Midwife. The year 1820 is associated with the birth of Florence Nightingale, who lent a new identity, a new paradigm to the term service to humanity and the field of nursing, taking it to newer heights. Mr. Modi expressed confidence that the nursing community, with its dedication, will help save many lives.
The Prime Minister said the small retail storekeeper in the neighborhood is also taking a great risk in these troubled times to ensure that people do not face any difficulty in buying essential goods. He also talked about drivers and workers who are continuing to work ceaselessly so that the nation's supply chain of essential goods is not disrupted. Mr. Modi said those working in the banking sector are leading us in this fight. Mr. Modi said many people are engaged with e-commerce companies as delivery personnel and are continuing delivering groceries even in these trying times. The Prime Minister said he was pained to see that some of those who were suspected to have the coronavirus and were asked to stay at home quarantine are being ill-treated by others. These people have isolated and quarantined themselves to protect other people from getting infected. Mr. Modi said such people need to be shown sympathy and cooperation.
मुझे कुछ ऐसी घटनाओं का पता चला है जिनमें कोरोना वायरस के संदिग्ध या फिर जिन्हें होम क्वारंटाइन में रहने को कहा गया है, उनके साथ कुछ लोग बुरा बर्ताव कर रहे हैं। ऐसी बातें सुनकर मुझे अत्यंत पीड़ा हुई है। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। हमें ये समझना होगा कि मौजूदा हालात में अभी एक दूसरे से सिर्फ सोशल डिस्टेंस बनाकर रखना है, न कि इमोशनल या ह्यूमन डिस्टेंस। ऐसे लोग कोई अपराधी नहीं है, बल्कि वायरस के संभावित पीड़ित भर है। इन लोगों ने दूसरों को संक्रमण से बचाने के लिए खुद को अलग किया है और क्वारंटाइन में रहे हैं.
The Prime Minister said, in a way, this time teaches us to reduce emotional distance and to increase social distance. He recalled Yash Vardhan from Kota, who wrote on the Namo app that they are increasing family bonding during the lockdown. They are playing cricket and board games with kids and preparing new dishes. Parikshit from Raipur, Aryaman from Gurugram and Suraj from Jharkhand have discussed about having an e-reunion with their school friends. Mr. Modi said it may be an interesting idea to talk to school and college mates whom we have not spoken to for decades. Regarding fitness, the Prime Minister said he will upload some videos on social media, including on the Namo app. He said he is not a yoga teacher, but merely a practitioner, and some yogasanas have greatly benefited him. Mr. Modi again appealed to the countrymen to stay at home, be careful and safe in order to win this battle.
आज हर भारतीय अपने जीवन की रक्षा के लिए घर में बंद है, लेकिन आने वाले समय में यही हिंदुस्तानी अपने देश के विकास के लिए सारी दीवारों को तोड़कर आगे निकलेगा, देश को आगे ले जाएगा. आप अपने परिवार के साथ घर पर रहिए, सुरक्षित और सावधान रहिए. हमें ये जंग जीतना है, जरूर जीतेंगे.
The Prime Minister's office has constituted 11 different high-level committees to suggest measures to ramp up healthcare, put the economy back on track and reduce misery of people as quickly as possible post the 21-day lockdown imposed to contain the coronavirus pandemic. Sources said each group has senior representatives from PMO and the Cabinet Secretariat to ensure seamless coordination. Official sources said these groups have been set up under Disaster Management Act.
A high-level meeting of union ministers was held in New Delhi this evening to review the situation related to COVID-19 and the preparedness to control it. In a tweet, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said, during the meeting, feedback was shared on the supply of essential commodities. Mr. Singh said Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being regularly informed about the discussions in the meeting. The meeting was attended by Home Minister Amit Shah, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and other union ministers.
The centre today asked states and union territories to take measures to prevent movement of a large number of migrant workers to their home states. It has ordered to ensure adequate arrangement of temporary shelters and provisions of food and other facilities for poor and needy people stranded due to the lockdown. In its fresh directive, the Home Ministry said the migrant people who have moved out to reach their home states must be kept in the nearest shelters by the concerned states and quarantine them after proper screening for a minimum period of 14 days. The ministry has also directed the employers, including industry, shops and commercial establishments, to make payment of wages of their workers on the due date without any deduction. The landlords of workers have also been ordered not to demand payment of rent for a period of 1 month. The ministry warned that action will be taken if any landlord is forcing labourers and students to vacate their premises. Terming the movement of a large number of migrant workers to reach their hometowns as a violation of the lockdown, the ministry asserted that District Magistrate, Senior Superintendent of Police and DCP will be personally liable for implementation of the direction and lockdown measures. Earlier in the day, the centre had asked state governments and union territory administrations to effectively seal state and district borders to stop movement of migrant workers. During a video conference with Chief Secretaries and DGPs, Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba and Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla asked them to ensure that there is no movement of people across cities or on highways as the lockdown continues.
The Home Ministry has asked all states and union territories to allow transportation of all goods without distinction of essential and non-essential during the 21-day lockdown period. In his letter to State Chief Secretaries, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla said the newspaper delivery supply chain is allowed during lockdown. He also said the entire supply chain of milk collection and distribution, including its packing materials, has also been allowed during the period. Besides groceries, including hygiene products such as hand wash, soaps, disinfectants, oral care items, battery cells and chargers are also allowed. Mr. Bhalla said the services of the Indian Red Cross Society is included under the establishment of National Disaster Management Authority.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said the country will fail to contain the coronavirus outbreak if the lockdown is not followed and urged people to stay wherever they are. Addressing a digital press conference in New Delhi today, he assured migrant workers that Delhi government has made food and boarding arrangements for them. He said his government has emptied the stadiums and made arrangements for people to stay there too if the need arises, and is giving free food to 4 lakh people daily.
In Bihar, migrant laborers who are coming from other states will be kept in quarantine for 14 days after health checkup. For this, shelter homes have been set up along bordering areas of the state. Schools along the bordering areas have been converted into quarantine centers. A control room has been set up to monitor movement of migrant laborers. More from our Patna correspondent.
Migrant laborers have started coming to state. They have been kept in shelter homes in bordering areas. Free food is being provided these people. Medical checkup is being undertaken for laborers. Those people who will found suspected will be kept in isolation centers. For this, isolation center has been made in schools situated in bordering areas. The state government has instructed concerned authorities to keep migrant people in shelter centers. A list of migrant people is being prepared. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has instructed to monitor activities of migrant laborers. With KK Lal's report from Patna, Sanjeev Jasrotia, AIR News.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has appealed to the migrant laborers and people living in other states to stay where they are during lockdown until further instructions. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has appealed to the laborers and workers living in other states to stay there itself and not to move for the sake of them and all. He said government is taking steps to provide all facilities there. Mr. Yogi appealed people not to get panicking but cooperate. He also appealed to all the migrant laborers of other states to remain stayed in Uttar Pradesh during the lockdown period. Chief Minister has asked landlords in the state not to demand house rent from laborers and workers living in their houses till 1 month. The district magistrates of Lucknow and Gautam Budh Nagar have already imposed orders to defer the demand of house rent from laborers for 1 month. Mr. Yogi has asked screening of all those entering Uttar Pradesh and directed to keep them in a compulsory 14 days quarantine to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus. Meanwhile, the process of releasing 11,000 prisoners on payroll has started in state to decrease overcrowd in jails. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa has assured the opposition leaders that migrant laborers returning from neighbouring states will be provided medical facilities and transported to their respective villages. During the all-party meeting held in Bengaluru today, the Chief Minister also assured that medical personnel treating COVID-19 patients will be provided sufficient personal protection equipment, masks, gloves and sanitizers. Our correspondent has the details.
Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa has assured that all the concerns raised by the opposition will be taken care of. In another development, the civil society organizations, workers' association and community health specialists in Karnataka have written a letter to Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa to immediately institute a coordinated ground-up response to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. It has said that panchayats, ward committees and council must be involved in disaster mitigation. They have also added that Karnataka State Disaster Management Authority must play an active role in this exercise. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
This is All India Radio bringing you a special program on COVID-19. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people to maintain social distance, not emotional distance, to deal with COVID-19. Sharing his thoughts in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, Prime Minister asserts steps being taken by people to stop spread of virus will ensure India conquers the pandemic. Prime Minister interacts with doctors and recovered COVID-19 patients, praises zeal and grit of the frontline workers for helping India to fight a battle on a massive scale. Centre asks states and union territories to take measures to prevent movement of migrant workers to their home states. 10 empowered groups formed by the government to give guidance on medical emergency management, isolation beds and quarantine facility. Centre approves insurance scheme under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package for health workers fighting to contain COVID-19. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
As many as 106 fresh cases of COVID-19 and 6 deaths have been reported from 6 states in the last 24 hours. Briefing reporters in New Delhi today, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, Love Agarwal, said there are 979 confirmed coronavirus cases in the country, including 25 deaths till now. He said the government has formed 10 empowered groups to give guidance related to medical emergency management, isolation beds and quarantine facility. Mr. Agarwal said the ongoing 21-day lockdown has resulted in some behavioral and mental health issues, and the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences has launched a toll-free number 08046110007 for consultation. On a query for specific blocks and hospitals for COVID-19 patients, he said the process to isolate them from other patients has started.
कोविड-19 के लिए बेड्स की संख्या बढ़ा रहे हैं, आइसोलेशन बेड्स को ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं, तो हमें ये इंश्योर करना होगा कि जो एग्जिस्टिंग हॉस्पिटल हैं कोविड-19 के पेशेंट्स के लिए वो डेडिकेटेड ब्लॉक्स हों या स्पेसिफिक हॉस्पिटल ऑर्गेनाइज किए जाएं ताकि वहां उन पेशेंट्स का दूसरे पेशेंट से इंटरमिंगलिंग होते हुए इन्फेक्शन के चांसेस ना हों। इसी के तहत ऑलरेडी कई स्टेट्स और सेंट्रल मिनिस्ट्रीज के जो हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वहां पर ऑलरेडी उन्होंने एग्जिस्टिंग पेशेंट्स को ईयरमार्क डेडिकेटेड हॉस्पिटल से दूसरे हॉस्पिटल में शिफ्ट भी करने का कार्य शुरू कर दिया है।
Head scientist in Indian Council for Medical Research, Raman Gangakherkar, said around 35,000 tests have been conducted till date. He said 113 labs are functional and 47 private labs have been given approval. On the occasion, Joint Secretary in the Home Ministry, Punya Salila Srivastava, said employers must be instructed to give full wages to workers on the due date without any deduction for the closed down period, and landlords cannot charge rent for this period.
जो स्ट्रैंडेड लेबर है उसके लिए फूड और शेल्टर का प्रावधान हो। स्टेट डिजास्टर रिस्पॉन्स फंड के अंतर्गत स्टेट्स और यूटीज को इसके लिए सफिशिएंट फंड मिला हुआ है। जो लेबर चल चुकी है उसको उसके गंतव्य स्थान पर स्टैंडर्ड हेल्थ प्रोटोकॉल के अनुसार मिनिमम 14 दिन के लिए क्वारंटाइन किया जाए। जितने एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं उनको निर्देश दिया जाए और ये लागू किया जाए कि क्लोज डाउन पीरियड के लिए वर्कर्स को उनके वर्क प्लेसेस पर ड्यू डेट पर बिना डिडक्शन के पूरी वेजेस दें। जो वर्कर्स रेंटेड अकोमोडेशन में रह रहे हैं उनके लैंडलॉर्ड ना उनसे 1 महीने का रेंट मांगेंगे और ना उनसे खाली कराएंगे।
The government has approved an insurance scheme announced under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package for health workers who are fighting to contain COVID-19. The scheme will provide an insurance cover of 50 lakh rupees for 90 days to around 22 lakh 12,000 public health care providers. They include community health workers who may have to be in direct contact and care of COVID-19 patients and who may be at risk of being impacted by this. The scheme will also include accidental loss of life on account of contracting COVID-19. The Health Ministry has said the insurance provided under this scheme will be over and above any other insurance cover being availed by the beneficiary.
In the wake of rising novel coronavirus cases in the country, the government has repeatedly asked people to practice social distancing to contain the spread of COVID-19. It has advised people to follow basic protective measures and to strictly follow the social distancing norms and to avoid gatherings. We spoke to a cross-section of people who shared how they are spending their time at home productively during the lockdown period.
This is Upendra. I'm speaking from East Delhi. I think the restrictions put by the Government of India on the movement of people and vehicle on the roads is appropriate step in right direction. If we want to contain the coronavirus, the only way is to restrict the movement.
This is Tulika and I'm HR at She Rose. So in this lockdown period when world is undergoing the crisis of COVID-19, we all are practicing social distancing. And how I manage work at home. So nowadays basically what I do is like rearranging my cupboards, cleaning home, cooking, and this is the time when entire family has come together. We all have started eating together, watching movies together, spending time all together.
BJP President JP Nadda has instructed the party's state units to help daily wagers and migrant labourers in their states during the lockdown period. Mr. Nadda has been holding daily meetings with BJP leaders through audio and video conferences to oversee the party's efforts to help the poor amid outbreak of the novel coronavirus. In this ongoing series of meetings, Mr. Nadda today interacted with state unit presidents and organizational secretaries of Himachal Pradesh, Odisha, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Kerala. He also instructed them to follow Prime Minister Narendra Modi's appeal to make this lockdown successful.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi today expressed solidarity with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying his party will cooperate with steps being taken by the government to fight the coronavirus outbreak. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Mr. Gandhi highlighted the plight of the poor, saying India may need to take different steps than other large countries have, who are following a total lockdown strategy as India's conditions are unique.
The Jammu and Kashmir government today issued helpline numbers to facilitate interstate migrant labourers who arrived in the Union Territory prior to the outbreak of the virus. The Labour Commissioner said these labourers can contact on the helpline numbers round the clock for assistance in Kashmir Division. Shaukat Shafi, Inspector on 8899546373, Ansar Ahmed, Inspector on 7006286174, and in Jammu Division, they can contact Shivika Sharma, Labour Officer on 9149691329, Tandar Pal Singh, Section Officer 705198642. Meanwhile, people have come forward and are providing food items to the migrant non-local workers and contribute to the humanitarian cause as urged by Prime Minister in his Mann Ki Baat address today. Our Srinagar correspondent has filed this report.
Due to ongoing coronavirus pandemic, a 65-year-old man died in Srinagar in the wee hours today. 4 of his contacts were also tested positive, and with this, the total number of positive cases in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has risen to 11. Meanwhile, apart from ensuring the smooth supply and distribution of essential supplies, the authorities have been urging the people of Jammu and Kashmir not to venture out during the lockdown period so that the transmission chain of the deadly virus is completely broken. This is Sunil Kohl for AIR News from Srinagar.
In Assam, midday meal is being served to over 40 lakh school students by the Education Department. Talking to AIR News, Principal Secretary in Education Department B. Kalyan Chakravarti said that social distancing and proper hygiene are being maintained.
The government of Assam has taken all measures that the midday meal scheme, 53,427 schools, including 71 Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas and 91 residential special training centers, with a total number of children of approximately 40,51,337 is being given regularly. Without losing out any midday meal to the children, we are making all efforts to give the midday meals. We are also giving the living allowance or the cooking allowance, etc. for the children as is prescribed.
In a force-multiplying move, the Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO will soon equip the frontline health personnel of the country with advanced ventilators, face masks and personal protection equipment in their fight against spread of novel coronavirus. Talking to our Hyderabad correspondent, DRDO Chairman Dr. G. Satish Reddy said that many of them will be made available to health professionals in the next couple of days. Stating that many technologies have been transferred to the industry, he said the DRDO has developed a technology to use one ventilator for multiple patients.
We have also made some equipment which we can make one ventilator to be used for multiple people. It has been tested yesterday and day before yesterday in a couple of hospitals with famous doctors, which has been successful, and they have given some suggestions to keep the isolation of the virus, and that also we are incorporating now and should be coming out.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed gratitude to President Ramnath Kovind for donating 1 month's salary to PM CARES Fund to help the nation tide over the crisis of COVID-19. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said the President is leading the way and inspiring the nation in this direction. The Prime Minister thanked Airports Authority of India, Cello Group, JSW Group, TCRAs, Paytm and others for their contributions to the PM CARES Fund.
And now, before we end the headlines once again, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people to maintain social distance, not emotional distance, to deal with COVID-19. Sharing his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, the Prime Minister asserts steps being taken by people to stop spread of virus will ensure India conquers the pandemic. Prime Minister interacts with doctors and recovered COVID-19 patients, praised his zeal and grit of frontline workers for helping India fight a battle on a massive scale. Centre asked states and union territories to take measures to prevent movement of migrant workers to home states. 10 empowered groups formed by the government to give guidance on medical emergency management, isolation beds and quarantine facility, and Centre approves insurance scheme under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package for health workers fighting to contain COVID-19. With that, we end the special news program on COVID-19.